Jay's here, so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
You're fired up today, aren't you?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the board meeting, November 14th, 2022. We have quite a few things to cover. Most of us are aware of a lot of them, therefore they shouldn't take too much of everybody's time. Start out with the announcements. Clear Creek Conservancy.
Dwayne Kelly, 282 Patriots Landing. I don't have much more to add. We hope that we have our meeting this Thursday. We hope that we get some of our bid package to put together, be able to maybe go out for bids in December is our plan if it all falls in line. But our meeting is Thursday the 17th at 10 o'clock at our small conference room.
17?
Yes.
That's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Thank you. Floyd Township Fire Department, anything other than nobody's here? Neighborhood Watch, Ken?
I'm reading this for April. Holiday Bazaar is this Saturday, November 19th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's a full house of vendors in the Clubhouse and Activity Center. Cash and carry. Come shop and support the local business. There will be biscuits and gravy for breakfast and taco salad and soft tacos for lunch. Free holiday pictures available for family, friends, and your fur babies. This will be located at the Activity Center. The Neighborhood Watch would like to share that there will be ladies only self-defense workshop on Saturday, January 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the clubhouse lower level. This class is open to teens and adult women at $25 per person. Neighborhood Watch and Heritage Lake Community Services is very excited to sponsor this event. I do have literature at the door, and you can pick up literature there at the office if you are interested. If you have any questions or would like to sign up, please call April at the POA office at 386-7447. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. HLCS.
Just one piece of happy news to report. The 2023 telephone directory has been printed, and I've scheduled a volunteer work day to help me do the assembly process for it. That's going to be the 26th, a Saturday from 9 to 2. I need 10 people. I have so far 6 or 7, so I could use 1 or 2 more volunteers if you're willing. Just give me a call or an email.
What time would be required for the volunteers?
9 to 2.
Starts at 9, and I expect it'll be done by 2.
9 to 2.
That's November 26th.
Yes.
That's 2 days after Thanksgiving, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna be out. Okay. Hellnack, don't expect a report. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay. POA security, Ken?
Arrest for operating while intoxicated, 1. Alarm, 1. Suspicious persons, 4. Property damage accident, 4. Traffic stops, 14. Administrative call, 5. Assist another agency, 1. Harassment call, 1. Fraud, 3. An overdose, 1. 4 lockouts, 1 assault, 2 abandoned vehicles, 1 theft, 3 disturbance calls, 1 missing person, 1 narcotic complaint, 1 burglary, and 1 psychiatric suicidal.
Wow.
The 4 property damage accident, that's kind of high for a month around here, so people need to slow down.
You know, I don't need to give any commentary, but this is a small community for all that, what you just read. Wow. Garden Club, I don't think anybody's here. Presentation of agenda. I would like to make a motion to add a agenda in the new business concerning campgrounds. We have some information from the campgrounds, and I'd like to add that. I'll make that motion.
I motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
New business E.
That'd be new business D, I believe.
Oh, that's
I
right.
went ahead and did new ones, everybody's got new ones.
Oh, did you? Oh, you already got them? Okay. I've got an old copy.
Oh, you got one.
I'm 2 days behind. You
Can't
got
just
it.
wave his magic wand and it appeared for us.
All right, presentation of minutes. Take a motion for the October 10th board meeting acceptance.
Move to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll take a motion also for the October 12th, or 24th operations meeting.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Treasurer's report, Mr. A.J. Stafford.
That's me again. October 22nd, or October 2022. Accrued income for the month of October was $85,506.99. Total expenses were $88,462.19, leaving a negative income balance of $29,5520, which is normal this time of year, just because we're not taking in as many fees and assessments as normal. Year-to-date accrued income, year-to-date is $1,541,914.25. Total expenses for a year were $1,508,386.89, leaving net income year-to-date of $33,527.36. As of October 31st, our short-term cash checking account balance was $531,271.92, and CD's money market investment accounts are $209,628.50 for a total total balance of $740,942. Whatever, $900.42. We'll get it there eventually.
.042.
Right. Got a little excited with the zeros, but I'm.
Just to follow up on the treasurer's report, keeping in mind that we, might make a little bit more or a little bit less than $100,000 a year, so we're on target to get ourselves back to the target date of 2024 for getting our cash reserves back so we can start maybe spending some money. The other thing is that we will be consulting with some people now that the interest rates and markets are changing. So we might be consulting with our banks and other people to see what we can do with our long-term cash. Okay? Just in case anybody had a question about that, we are paying attention to it. Okay. Committee reports. A&E, that's me. I don't have anything. We had, I don't have that. You have it?
Where's on the table?
Where, oh.
The new wording.
Oh, yeah.
And we
yeah.
can do it, it'll be,
Where is it?
um,
Sorry, I don't have it.
The A&E
This is-
thing, the A&E thing's
That's
gonna be later.
that's for a voting process?
yeah, we can do that.
Sorry, I didn't get it. There's, the last A&E meeting, they had predominantly docks and fences and that kind of thing. there's not a lot to report.
Stuff was being built.
A&E is starting to slow down, obviously, and we're still searching out for a manager to go out and, compliance manager. That's still part of A&E. Obviously, I am substituting, Steve's been substituting for A&E liaison. Other than that, there's nothing really to report. I keep in touch with April on almost a weekly basis as far as A&E. Nothing really to report on that. Campground, Rick Stevens is not here. He's coming back from Las Vegas after watching that fabulous football game. So, hell, they might still be there. We do have some campground issues toward the new business situation. Cleanup. Anybody have anything for cleanup?
They're on close until March.
Until March, okay, closed. We should probably take those off. Closed until March. Can't find any trash underneath the snow. Government, Rick Olson.
Rick Olson, 51 Mill Springs. Nothing really to report from the commissioners' meetings. One item that's coming up, they're starting to look at the road repair plan for 2023, and I plan on driving the roads that are coming up in the next 3 years to see if there's any priorities for any roads, kind of like we did last year or this year with Betsy Ross. So I'll be taking a look at that and giving them feedback. I assume they did listen last year, so I assume they will again. So that's really all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lake Committee.
I can report on it. I have the minutes that I think you have.
Yeah,
Yeah. But the Bass Club reported that they have $850 to give the POA from their tournament fees.
Okay.
And money is typically used to offset the cost of fish stocking. They just held their toy drive and tournament this past weekend. It was quite a success. The continuing dialogue on the rules changes that the Lake Committee recommended, and I think the POA board still needs to approve those, and notably 2 or 3 of them we passed off to the board to decide if they want them and decide the final language on them.
We will follow up during new business on discussing one of the new rules that they would like the board to read their language and approve, disapprove, change, whatever you want to do. My suggestion on that is we read it over today and look over the Lake Committee changes, and then vote on it next 2 meetings so that we can get it voted, we can get it approved so that the office can have it reprinted and out when they send out the assessments. Okay? Sound good?
Yes, sir.
And I really think, I've looked over everything, and I think if you guys look over it, we have some discussion on it, we can forego the second vote if you'd like, just so that we give the office enough time to get it all situated and printed and all that kind of stuff. Sound good?
One last thing, the Lake Committee, that was our last meeting until March, although they did give me, Jim, and Deb Muhlenbein the authority to finalize the lake rules and revise the testing so that we can get that to you in plenty of time to roll it out next year.
Cool. Clean water, nothing. Long-term planning,
We're not going to meet again until March.
March, okay? Let me go ahead and take that off also.
Did you get my email?
Siltation, Dwayne Kelly?
Wayne Kelly, 282. I think I told you at the last meeting that we were done for the year. I lied to you. Uh,
I noticed that.
AJ at our last meeting,
Get that in minutes.
AJ at our last meeting, our siltation meeting, brought up the fact that Shannon was in the lake with his equipment at the north end. So our meeting was on Thursday night. I called Shannon on Friday morning, talked to him about cleaning the feeder stream from the dam out to the beach while he had his equipment in there. We were lucky enough to have some money left over. I haven't have any idea what it cost, but he did it. He told me that morning, he thought about, looked like it might be about 15 loads to come out of there. And I haven't talked to him, I haven't seen anything about what it did, but anyway, we just thought we were done, and AJ happened to tell us that he had his equipment up there, and I said, well, if he's got his equipment in there, it might be 5 years before we lower the lake again, and better have him jump in while he's got the ramp and equipment in.
Sure.
So we don't meet again till March unless they have to call a meeting or something.
Very appreciative, thank you.
Pardon?
Very appreciative, thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's a good 27 inches that I've had to take out, yeah.
And there was
Election
some,
committee, Jim Muhlenbein's not here. The only thing we have for the election committee probably is everybody, I think everybody knows, there's 4 spots open and there's 4 people running.
Okay.
So there will be no ballot sent out this year. Now, there's 4 people running for 4 spots. There's, those 4 people have until January to decide whether they're going to partake in that position,
Are we
okay?
allowed to, we don't announce the names till
No.
then?
Well, we can announce the names, we know who they are.
Yeah, because we're going to publish them in Highland.
Just nobody's here from the election committee. It's myself, Rick Stevens from the campground,
Jeff Blades.
Jeff Blades.
Melissa.
Everybody knows, does everybody know Jeff Blades? He used to be chairman of the cleanup committee, and he's been in the neighborhood for quite some time. And last, Alyssa
Warchak.
Vorchak. She is one of our security people on the lake,
yeah,
and she's also the deputy prosecutor in Putnam County.
Board check?
BORK, BORCHEK,
AK.
AK.
Okay.
So welcome to those 3 people. We'll have some more discussion on that when we get into some of the new business. Okay, that takes us through the committee reports, managers report. Ken?
All right. I'd really like to begin by recognizing someone and thanking Mary Nice. Most of you probably have noticed that from the very beginning of the new structure of the marina, Mary has taken an interest in keeping the outside flowers groomed and decorated, ornaments throughout every holiday. That lady has devoted many hours in doing this for our enjoyment, and I'd like to say thank you to her. The time that she has spent is very much noticed and appreciated. Yes. There's been many times I've been out patrolling at night, and I'd roll through there about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. She'd be out there working.
Really?
Yeah,
She's a night owl.
She
many
does
times.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
The maintenance staff is close to wrapping up mulching leaves on all the common properties. Tomorrow is our focus day on getting all the leaves blown up to be picked up for the campground. The leaf drop-off area will remain open throughout the upcoming weeks on Tuesdays and Thursdays, along with Saturdays and Sundays, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We can thank Dave Gibson for his offered time to open up and manage the gate on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help out through the weekdays. When the demand slows, we will close the gate for appointments only. The campground and outside restroom facilities have been winterized and have been closed up for the season. A portalette, like we do in every winter, has been placed at the marina for the use throughout the winter months. All the dock material was delivered this morning for the construction of the new Lincoln Park Boardwalk and hopes to be completed before spring, along with the material for the dock extension at the marina that will begin during the upcoming spring. Now that the temperatures have transitioned to cold, and if you're in need of firewood, we have several ricks of wood split and ready for pickup at $50 a rick or $60 to be dropped off. Please call the office if you are interested. And finally, the restaurant income, the percentage of sales for October is calculated at 6%. The percentage will drop to 3% for the next 4 months during off-peak season. The 6% income generated for October was $4,041.84. Income year-to-date collected through 10 months is $60,894.99. And that's it.
Thank you, Ken. We move into old business. Start out with old business A, budget 2023. I'll take a motion to
We
approve.
accept budget as previously discussed.
Second.
All those in favor? Budget passes.
Rick, I'll get you
I
that
have-
short budget.
I have Steve's proxy, by the way, so that's, I have Steve's proxy. Next on the old business, the deeding of adjoining lots. We had one vote on this. And this was the A&E change rules on adjoining lots. I'll go ahead and read this and we can make a motion so that everybody knows we're staying with the same vocabulary here. Before submitting an application to the A&E Committee for construction over a lot line, which is a contiguous lots, the property owner must deed the 2 lots into 1 lot and record this change with the Putnam County Clerk. A copy of the recorded deed is to be submitted for any project that requires the properties to be deeded together. Lots that are deeded together cannot be separated once a structure has been built on the non-house lot or into the easement between the 2 lots. That is A&E Rule number 154. Second rule, which we are voting on, is A&E Rule 421.3, proposed. There must be a house constructed on the lot in order to construct a garage. Adjacent lots that have been deeded together, see Rule 154, which I just read, must have a shared property line in order to build a detached garage on the adjoining lot to the house. I'll take a motion to approve this for the second time.
Move we approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. So that's the second vote on the budget and the second vote on deeding the adjoining lots. And we will read the second vote, which is a 3.5% convenience fee. The POA is charged a credit card processing fee that is significantly higher than what we are charging members who elect to use a credit card. We have lost over $12,000 this year in credit card fees not collected and paid for by the POA. It has been recommended that we raise the convenience fee up to 4%. At this time, we have decided to raise the fee to 3.5%. The fee is only assessed on credit card purchases, not debit card purchases. I'll take a motion.
Motion to second vote on as read for credit cards.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Thank you.
Nina, was you in favor?
I was an aye, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Did you not deny? Is that what you said?
I was an aye.
Oh, okay. I thought you said, I deny.
I am not abstaining from the vote. I voted it passed.
All right, new business. All right, let's get to the lake rules here. Looking through the lake rules, and again, we can go ahead and I think vote, unless you guys want to vote tonight. We can have the first vote tonight, that's up to you, but I think we read them, look them over, digest, and the next board meeting, we can have one or two votes. Probably one of the items that is, I'm frantically looking for the copy of the lake rules. What do I do?
Got this on the front, so it's blue as well.
Yeah, it's got the minutes on the front.
Blue. Candy got it right there.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I got it. Sorry. Too many tables. So let's go to the boat day pass. It seems that's the only rule that the Lake Committee found it impossible to get a vote. Or is that good language for that?
There was one other.
Okay.
At the end of that same page where the, you see items 5, 6, and 7 on page 3. At the end of that page, there was a new rule proposed about derogatory flags.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We'd like you to at least think about that one.
So we're looking at number 5 and number 7, correct? So number 5 deals with the watercraft pass. The suggested language, I guess, is daily watercraft pass is available for $50 to the POA members who do not have access to their own boat lift or do not have access to the POA boat tie-ups or marina boat lifts. The day pass must be purchased by a property owner in good standing, adhering to the same watercraft registration procedures. The pass is valid only until midnight the day of the purchase and is to be returned the next day to the marina. There was no motion made, and they're asking the board to make a decision on this. I think we've had discussion about this in the past. Obviously, the people who live on the lake are taken off the boat pass privilege. They have a lift. And there are people that live on the lake that don't have lifts, but there are very few of them. And they would fit into the same category as what I just read. Any discussion?
If I could add my 2 cents to that, if you guys would entertain.
Yeah.
The pass is valid only until midnight the day of the purchase and is to be returned the next day to the marina. I think we should put a time by 10 a.m. That's just kind of opened up to, well, we'll return it by 6 p.m. and we'll enjoy the second day all day long. And it's, I just think that if you would say by 10 o'clock, that's before you can really get out and have fun.
Have fun with it, yeah.
So I think there should be some verbiage stating it should be returned by a certain time.
Good point. Anything else tonight? Okay. We'll move on to the next one.
I have a question about that. So what is the reasoning behind not having the watercraft available for, what is it? A lake, if they have lakefront property?
They're saying that if you have a dock, you shouldn't be able to buy a day pass because
Because why?
you're gonna be parking it at your house.
Okay.
If you have a dock or a boat slip or a tie-up, you should be buying the year registration.
Okay. Okay. do not have access to their own boat lift.
Yeah, the boat lift thing for me is not.
Yeah,
That's the one thing, cause like you've got like, well, like, okay, Summer doesn't have a boat lift,
I can't have a boat lift.
and she can't have a boat lift,
Right.
but she is waterfront. So could she buy a day pass with the wording? Could she not?
Technically, she could.
It
I
just
think
seems like there's a lot of very specific words.
If the.
I think Summers, I can't think of another person on the lake that doesn't have a boat lift.
There
To be honest.
there are people that.
Well, there was that person that
There's
came
a
in where
ton in
couldn't
our
have a boat lift,
Yeah.
was trying to get it approved.
He doesn't tie his boat up next to his property though. I mean, I
No,
guess he
they-
could.
In the cove over from me, they couldn't have a boat lift because they would have to get a variance to block half the cove.
So does he tie his boat up next to
He ties his boat up to his dock, he does not have a boat lift. So I'm saying the wording, using the words boat lift is
If the
relevant.
intent,
Right.
if the intent is to say that,
I don't know why a lift matters.
Everybody that lives on the water cannot have a day
Or a
pass,
dock.
that's the intent.
if that's the intent, that's not what it says.
Okay, so then we should include boat lift or dock, and
But
or dock.
It seems like their issue though is that people buy the day pass and then put their boat on the lift and then
Cover
it's
Correct.
not in the water. So
Correct.
that, I think that's why the boat lift is mentioned,
Oh.
because then it's not, it's
Then
on the
it's-
lift,
that's right,
up
we
in
talked
the air.
I just feel-
Problem is, anybody that's on the water, that lives on the water, if they get a day pass to put their boat where they live, then they can use it anytime they want. But they're supposed to go back to the marina and get a day pass every time they take that off their lift or off
I
their
just don't
dock.
think you should be
or
able
the
to.
move.
If you live on the water, you should have to buy a sticker. End of
So-
story.
So maybe,
It doesn't matter if you use the boat once a year. If you only get to come out to Heritage Lake and you own a house, this is my personal opinion, it's not the opinion of the board. If you own a waterfront house on Heritage Lake, you should have to buy a sticker.
I don't like having.
If you're gonna have a boat, if you're gonna have a boat, you have to buy a sticker because there's too many variables to write a rule, and we're gonna spend a lot of mental capital trying to chase down every tiny little thing to do it. You gotta pay to play. Like, do you wanna have a boat and a waterfront house? You pay the $300 for the sticker. If you don't, you don't. I don't understand why we need to spend, this is my personal opinion, spend a lot of time chasing this down. If you have a tie-up, or if you have a dock, or a way to keep your boat on the water permanently, potentially, or whatever the wording with that would be. I like what he said about if you have a marina boat lift, a tie-up, or your own dock.
Or access, you don't have to have a dock.
I just don't
If
agree.
you own waterfront property or if you utilize one of the POA rented
Yeah.
slip or tie-up, you must buy a sticker.
So what about the people who have they rent a spot at the marina to put their boat in,
Mhm.
and then they want to bring in a boat
Has to be
for a
registered.
day?
Has to be
For
stickered.
for the whole year. They're not somebody who lives on the water. They're just somebody who rents,
So they're gonna own a
They
boat
have
in
to have
their
a s-
name,
yes.
so they're gonna own a boat in there, just walk
And
me
they
through.
have paid for the year for that one, and I get that. I understand that. What if they want to bring in a jet ski for a
A day.
weekend?
they could get a day pass.
Not according to this rule.
They don't live on the water.
No,
It
but if they
doesn't
have a
matter.
They have
tie-up,
access to but they're renting a marina
There's
tie-up.
like two different wordings on this
Right.
rule.
I think I asked this before, how much money do we actually lose or spend or make in day passes a year? In general?
But it's not what we
We
lose
sold
in day
22.
passes,
We
we
sold
lose
22 this
in revenue.
Right, no, I'm just
Right.
saying, like, I'm just curious if it's,
Well, I mean,
how many day passes do we give out a
22
season?
this
I
year.
forget the number, I think it
22.
was around 20.
22,
22 she said.
Yeah.
okay. I guess there's a good chance that anybody can cheat a rule. I just think that there's a lot of
I think we're
verbiage.
also opening up a big can of worms if we have rules for certain people and rules not for certain people.
Right, rules for
I don't like
lakefront, how lakefront people can operate on the water and how people who do not own lakefront property can operate on the water. I agree with that.
It seems like we're making
Anybody
a
else?
bunch of rules for the intent of a boat can't sit on a boat lift.
Yeah,
Without a sticker, which is already a rule.
well,
No, it's not.
Oh, that's right.
I
That's
can
right.
tell
'cause
you the
don't get your
reason
boat off.
the
Yeah.
reason the lake committee passed this one to the board is just so we could get this dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Because the day pass is not a popular thing with anybody that I know, okay?
We only gave out 22 of them. Why do we even really have it?
Now,
As an option.
I'd like to address your
And it wasn't
comment.
22 different people. I mean, it was-
Correct, is it one person using it 8 times out of the 22 for one person because they could only afford to do one
That's
here and one
probably,
there?
that's probably an accurate statement. It's not 8, but there's probably one person that uses it 3 times a year. I'd like to address what you're saying. Keep in mind also is that the person that has a boat on a boat lift or a tie-up obviously recreates at Heritage Lake. They partake in the fun of Heritage Lake. If they have a boat and a jet ski and they can't afford for a slip for their jet ski, it seems to me like they ought to be buying a whole year pass for that jet ski because they're gonna use it the whole year. And yeah, they might have to trailer it in just like everybody else trailers their boats in, that don't live on the water, but they buy a full pass every year. So, I mean, I think we need to get to a point, especially as how crowded we are as a lake. I have a tendency to want to get to the point where if you got a boat, buy a pass. If you got a boat, buy a
And
sticker.
I'm okay with
If you
that.
got
Like,
2 boats,
everybody
buy a
uses your boat
sticker.
in one day, you have to buy a pass for the whole thing. I just don't,
You don't want to separate it.
I don't like the rules for certain people or versus other people.
I think we should take away the day pass. I'm just gonna say.
That would be the simplest thing.
As crowded as we are, you made a really good point, as crowded as we are, and this is the variable that we need to consider when it comes to safety and security. We know how many stickers we've issued at a given time. And so we know the maximum number of boats that are gonna be on the water at any given time is the maximum number of those stickers. If we're selling day passes, we can't necessarily predict, you know what I mean? That,
And I would say you're probably gonna sell more day passes during the busiest time of the year.
exactly.
And they're probably gonna be people that don't drive a boat as often. So they're not
Problem
rookies,
again.
but they're probably a little bit more dangerous than,
Right,
The ones
The
I've seen
typical.
have been on July 4th.
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
We're not trying to limit people's fun. I don't think that's the intent of
And it's
anybody.
not, I don't feel like it's limiting anyone's fun. The year boat pass is available there to everybody who has the same requirements that a day pass requires, that it be a valid boat with a valid hull and valid insurance, and something else.
Was that an option that was discussed?
We did discuss the possibility of doing away with the day pass altogether.
What was the
And
temperature
it
on
was-
that?
And there were a few people on our committee that did not support that idea.
Okay.
Is that because
Few
they use
meaning
it?
more than 2?
No, I think 2.
Okay.
Because they're,
Abusing it?
Because they are day pass users,
and what is their reasoning? I mean,
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
I'd be
that's-
why
curious
do they
about
use
that.
it? Do
I
do they say why?
can't speak for him or them. I can't.
Well,
I
I'd
can tell you
like
what
to-
I think, but that's not fair.
Right.
Well, I guess we could just take it away, and then if there's like this huge outcrying, it's gonna take 2 votes to change it anyway.
Well, I think as a board, you need to look at all of our discussion, you need to understand that there's, as a committee, as a lake committee, there's a person who uses the day pass that is against the whole thing. The temperament of the committee, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the temperament of the committee is not to step all over that person's head, but to listen. And they're listening, and the committee is not, the committee wants us to come up with
They want us to be the bearers of bad news.
absolutely. They want the board to come up with a solution. So we've heard a lot of discussion here tonight on this one rule. I don't want to beat it to death. Think about it. We've got it on camera. Those of you in the community, if you have something to say, you need to say it. Whether you submit something to the office or you call one of us, or let us know. Whether you like it or not, let us know. We are going to make a ruling on this next meeting. Yes?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If a person wanted to, was considering buying a boat from, like it's a used boat from somebody, is there a mechanism now to be able to put that on the water just to try it?
Sure.
Yes.
There is, okay.
They go to
I
the-
had the same question.
Test drive.
They gotta let me know, and then I'll let the marina manager know.
And there's also been scenarios where someone's bought a brand new boat and the company has delivered the boat, but the owner can't necessarily be on site to, at the ramp with all the information. And so they've also allowed the boat to be, put on water, tied up at the marina for an hour while the property owner comes.
I'm guessing that, I guess the precedence is not going to be set. We're not trying to make rules for different people. I think what we're trying to do is prevent a precedence for one person. And then all of a sudden we have 15 boats on lifts without permits.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
And so think about that.
I feel like the day pass, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I do want to get this out. I feel like the day pass is obsolete at this point. We are no longer a one weekend a month visit lake. The vast majority of our citizens out here are out here, if not full-time, they're out here 3/4 time. And I feel like the day pass was implemented for those that used to come out once a year. And I feel like it's obsolete at this point in the evolution of our community.
Okay, so let's just move on, and we'll
Discuss it now.
discuss it in the ops meeting again, and we'll also vote on it at the next board meeting. Okay, everybody concur?
My only point is that kind of along the lines of what AJ said, I think we're taking something that's probably pretty simple and making it really complicated in terms of talking about boat lists and not boat lists and docks and this and that.
Yeah.
The more we can simplify it, when the way it says right now, it says a daily watercraft pass proposed is available for $50 for non-waterfront property members only. I mean, that kind of covers it for the most part. I'm not sure you need to elaborate on lifts and non-lifts and that stuff.
And docks and, yeah.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
Okay, well, let's, along with voting on it, let's bring your language so we can vote on it, all right? And that's, I like that language. Those of you who think we should eliminate it, I hear that language also.
Are we gonna talk about,
Yeah, the last one on that page.
Yep,
I can tell you after that rule was proposed, there was, a lot of support for it. But there was considerable concern because it kind of gets into the First Amendment territory. And so we decided to let the board decide, do we need it, do we want it, and how does it state it?
so the new rule proposed is inappropriate, expletive, or derogatory flags, signs, etc. are not allowed to be displayed on any watercraft. I think there needs to be some cleanup on the language. This is just my own personal feeling. I think we need to, somewhere along the line in my past, I was taught that in business and in life, if you act conservatively, most people will accept your acting. If you become erratic or take on too much of a risk, there are going to be some people in the audience that are not going to accept it, whether it be in business or in life. That has always stuck with me. I will say that if I have my grandchildren in my boat and I'm parked behind another boat, that has a flag on that boat that says, "Show me your butthole," I do not think that's acceptable. That is not free speech. That is gross. I don't want my grandkids going back to their grade school and saying, "Hey, you should come with me to my grandfather's house because we get to see some really good stuff." I'm just saying. Now, I'm sure the people that put that flag on their boat did not think of that. I'm positive. But we as a board should be thinking about that. And if you don't agree with that as a board, I'm fine. But that's my stance on it. And I don't think, if somebody wants to say Biden is terrible, fine. If somebody wants to say F Biden, no. I don't agree with that. You want to put it on your own car? Fine. Don't put it on our lake. Don't put it in our community. We had this discussion when somebody put it in their yard. But people have to walk past yards. People walk their kids past yards. I'm sorry if this sounds a little bit over the top, but that's my feeling. You guys decide.
I agree. I would like to see the word inappropriate removed and the word offensive placed.
That's
Because
exactly what I'm
inappropriate, we had a boat out here, really nice couple. It meant nothing bad, but their boat was called Wet Passions. And someone could construe that as being inappropriate. But is it offensive? No. So I feel like the word offensive is a little better descriptor there versus inappropriate. So offensive, expletive, or derogatory.
I agree with that. That's exactly, I'd written that same word down.
Get out of my head, Dennis.
No,
What was the word?
Just replace inappropriate with offensive.
Okay.
now, from my standpoint, I totally agree with everything everybody said. Somebody tells me, I'll fly it as much as I want to fly it. Do you think there's something that we should run by our attorney before we try to enforce something that,
Yes.
Well, but I think,
I mean,
but I think if you put that out there, 99% of the people are gonna know what you're talking about and are going to
Right.
support it.
And the
And you're probably gonna have that 1% out there. There's gonna be somebody that's gonna fly that flag, that's gonna,
I was gonna
take
say
everybody
99% of the people won't fly that
Right.
flag anyway.
Right.
That's inappropriate.
Yeah.
So,
but that one person that is doing it to test you.
In your face.
And me being the one that has to enforce the rules, the last thing I want to do is try to enforce something. I'm going to get the POA in a lawsuit,
Right.
or do something wrong. I just think a quick sentence to the attorney.
And I'm sure there's a precedent set for HOAs that basically says, you can't do this in your yard.
Well, the one individual that I addressed had it in his yard. First was going to challenge me a little bit, and I just told him I was going to turn it over to the attorney. He called me later on, I think it was maybe the next morning, and told me he was going to take it down. Now, that individual was ready to challenge me on it. Now, it turned out, him and I had become decent friends. But I really was fully prepared for him to tell me where to go. But it didn't work out that way. He worked with me on it instead of against me. We got it removed, but it's not always going to work that way.
Right.
And
To your point, I think it's good to know what course of action we have available to us if that happens, but I don't think that should stand in the way of us doing this.
Yeah. What, did they talk about like levels that this would be at? I mean, are we talking about somebody who does that is off the lake for 30 days? Is it?
We didn't assign levels to
It's just a
to
do or
the new
don't
rule proposals. No.
I guess we could propose the rule, get the language on the rule, see who breaks the rule, And then maybe in 2023, when we do this again, we decide if there needs to be a level assigned to it. Or
Right.
maybe it's a, hey, stop doing that.
Because there may not even be an issue.
That's what I mean, we may just need to stair step into it.
I feel like once the rule is in place, then people are going to understand that.
Well, any rules can be adjusted as
Yes.
we move forward. And if
Yes.
we get a new board and we think that any of our rules are obsolete or not pertinent, what have you. So we'll check with the lawyer on that. And
Maybe $150 well spent.
if you want to look at that rule over, and please come up with the verbiage that you'd like to vote on. I agree with Dennis that no matter what the attorney says, we can make our voices heard in the rules. So if you as a board decide you want to comply with that, we can put it in the rules, and we don't have to put a fee next to it, it's just in the rules, okay?
Paul, before you move on, I want to point out one thing for the board. As you review these rules changes and the new rules that were proposed, there is one other that kind of gets lost. It's on the last page 4 at the top about ballast boost and when to empty it.
I thought that was already a rule.
No.
Okay.
You have to surf in the main body of the lake. but I don't think
Yeah, we
there's
have a
anything
rule
about-
for where you can do that, but what we're, the reason we ask for this rule is because we have anecdotal reports where some of those boats are not draining their ballast before they go into the coves, and it causes wake problems.
I've definitely seen that. And the slower they go, the bigger the wake.
Exactly. So don't overlook that one, please.
Thank you. All right. Annual meeting. We've had some discussions in executive committees, we've had discussions in ops meetings, and we've had individual discussions about the possibility, entertaining the possibility of changing the annual meeting from February to a more seasonable month, because we have so many people that leave for the winter time. And there's been a lot of discussion, and it's all positive discussion. However, at this point, we're not going to do anything this year. We're going to have our normal meeting. But I'd like everybody to think about this, and especially those people that are watching the meeting out in your homes. The closest thing we came up to agreeing on was, because March is such a vacation month with different schools, we started teetering into April, and then we have the same problem with April. There's vacation weeks in April. So one of the potential thoughts was the beginning of May, like the first weekend of May, the first Saturday of May, to have the annual meeting. Now, the problem with that is, in our bylaws, we would have to change the bylaws concerning elections, because we don't want new board members to be taking over in the month of May. We'd like them to be taken over either in January or February. So, but the possibility there is that we just change that. So that's something you need to think about. If we try in 2023, or in 2024, to have our annual meeting in May, this is all, the thought process was to get more people at the annual meeting in person. We see the people we don't see all summer long, one day a year. And they come in and they talk about the things they want to talk about. They actually physically see what's going on with board members and or their neighbors and so on and so forth. It has been dwindling down every year, the number of people that come to those meetings. If we try this in May, and we still get the same number that we get in February, why, doesn't make much sense to even worry about it. We'll just film it and move forward. So, in fact, if we do change it to May, the end of April or the beginning of May, we will have to change some election rules. Okay? Keep that in mind. Also, and that's the only real negative I've found with changing the meeting. We can change the meeting according to the bylaws that are in effect right now, up until 15 months after the last meeting. Okay, which May fits right in there, it's right at the end. So, if there's any discussion right now, that's fine.
Can I just offer my 2 cents on that?
Absolutely.
I think, if we're changing the meeting date month for the intended purpose to try and get more people to attend, I don't know how critical that is, because if you think about it, the best attended meeting I can remember was a couple of years ago, and we had just over 100 people in the meeting space downstairs. That was a lot. That filled the room. And with 3,000 people out here now, or 2,000 of them maybe voters, I'm not sure we have room for a lot more people. So I'm questioning, if we make it available online, maybe we also add the ability to have dialogue with the people online to that. But, we'll have a lot more if we get really, really good attendance.
Be a good problem to have.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, and in May, you've got the ability to, expand. I mean, who knows?
Set it up outside in the pavilion,
You could have a tent.
broadcast it out.
Yeah.
Attend on your boat.
That's something to think about.
And we could have a band.
If this is a wasted thought, that's fine too. Anybody else have any input?
I like the idea of moving it to May. I think the community seems to be a little more energized. I like that first yard sale in May, kind of wakes the neighborhood up from our winter slumber.
It does.
And we kind of see each other more often starting around that time. So to me, it makes sense that we would also have our annual meeting.
Nina says this because she hibernates in the winter. He does not go outside.
I don't.
I had asked Paul, I thought it was a valid question, that when people is kind of gearing up for Memorial Weekend, just at that point of May, does people really give two hoots about last year?
Maybe it should be about looking forward. Maybe we should change the whole purpose of the annual meeting to look forward instead of looking back.
If we had a tent outside in the back, and we had breakfast, and, we could make it a big deal.
Free food and band. Yeah.
I don't know, I look at more, I'm not thinking that the people will come to worry about what happened last year. I'm thinking the people might come just to see everybody
And
and
engage.
start out. We're
Well,
starting the year out.
Well, you know what, I gotta admit, we've been out here, we've owned out here for about 10 years. And there was this board meeting that encouraged me to come out here. Because, when I came to the first board meeting, it showed me that, hey, this place is pretty darn well run. And they've got some good leadership out here.
And there's a lot going on.
And there's a lot going on, and I knew that they had plenty of cash reserves. I didn't want to move into a community that was going to have special assessments and didn't have any cash. So it was, it's good for people to see how this works.
Things have gone downhill since you moved in.
Especially since I got here.
We weren't going to say that.
All right, so let's give that some thought, and maybe we'll get some input from the people out there in the audience. All right. Next thing on the agenda here for the new business is the website. Just to keep you informed, board members, and I'm going to find this in just a second, but we have given some thought to not only our website, but just getting the administration here, our website, how we do things IT-wise within the office for the community. And we're looking to accept a proposal from Clint Hackelman, who everybody knows. And Clint has a very detailed background in all the things that we have been discussing. And the functions, as you see in front of you, that we're going to look into, and we're going to try this program out. Editing pages, content updates, understanding markup language, edit graphics and media for the website use, email list maintenance and contact management, create accounts, licenses, and resources needed as a web administrator. A lot of this stuff was an umbrella with the web company we had, but we never used it because there was just never any contact with those people. We just had that, we never used it. I think Ken and I discussed this, and we were kind of energized to see if we could find somebody local, and by golly, we got a surprise. So we're going to try this out. It's an operational thing, we don't have to vote on it. But we're excited about it, and we're going to move forward with it. So,
I like it.
good.
So are we going to give him flexibility to look at a different web provider?
Yeah, he will make that choice as he looks into what we have now, and to see. I mean, he's suggested that we might use the same provider. But if we don't use the same provider, we'll make that choice as we go through, and we'll monitor whatever he says and go from there.
I like it, especially with some of the things that you talked about doing. I think it'd be a good partnership.
Oh, I'm all for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have to vote on this?
No.
Just have it on?
No, it's pretty operational. Yeah.
It was just in forwarding it.
All right.
Or resolve
I was
the
doing all the math
site.
and how much it's gonna cost.
Or resolve the site is
What's
due.
that?
So I was doing the math and how much it was gonna cost.
Piece of cake.
Treasurer was over here with his
Nothing.
Treasurer was adding things up. I was like, wait a
Using
second, how much
abacus.
is this costing?
He had
If you
take
have
his
to
shoes
ask,
off
you know,
We're
twice.
being fiscally responsible.
Last thing, let's look at the campground.
All right.
Now, under the committee bylaws and board bylaws, just like the lake committee, the campground has changed some languages. You all have the old and you have the new. So I'd like you all to read through that, look over it. I'm not going to read through it tonight. This is something that's going to be sent out to all the new potential campground people. But I'd like you all to read that, and we will vote on it at the next meeting. We can discuss it if we need to in the ops meeting. Basically, just rewording some of the campground rules for the campers to clarify language and to anything that has been a problem in the past, they've just addressed those things. So read through that. If anybody in the audience or anybody out in the community are interested in renting from the campgrounds, these rules, the old rules and the new rules, are available after we vote on the new rules. You guys have any questions about that?
We just noticed that on the general rules, number 10, no playing in the bathhouse was missing.
Yeah.
So we're wondering, can we now play in the bathhouse?
On the old one, it has number 10 is no playing in the bathhouse, and it is missing from the new one.
Well, it was deliberately removed because
Oh, awesome.
it sounded stupid.
Nice.
It was like, do we really need this in there?
Apparently at some point we did.
Well,
Somebody.
I
apparently,
know what I'm doing.
I'm hoping that the campground is ran much better today than what it was 10 years ago.
you know, the funny thing is, I read through this old rules and I thought, no, nobody's gonna bring that up. There's not a chance somebody's gonna bring that up.
I reread that thing several times and I thought, I asked and I said, does this really need to be in? It sounds so juvenile. It sounds like something you'd tell your elementary kids.
Right, absolutely, 1,000 times a day.
Don't play in the toilet.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I did have a quick question on the permanent campers about paying their electric bill. Is there any way, and I don't camp, but is there any way that you could put your credit card on file with the POA and have them
Pay the fee.
to be able to pay the electric bill, or do they pay Hendrix or whoever directly?
No, they pay us.
I just didn't know if it would make it easier, accounting wise, if they had a credit card on file through, through our credit card system where we don't hold the number. But Jenna could go through at the beginning of every month and charge all the cards for all the campers. And it would just be,
I think that campers have kind of come up with a solution to that monthly paying, like what we did this year, because we got our bill late, so then we got yelled at because we didn't pay our bill. They were gonna turn my electric off.
well, that was
Were
the
you
thing.
playing in the
They
restroom?
put it-
I was too busy playing in the restrooms to pay my electric bill. Should have been paying the water bill too, I guess. And so what we did is we put we estimated $7 a month is our electric bill out there. And so we basically prepaid $7 a month. And then every month Jenna sends us a statement of, this is
I
where you
think
were
a
at,
lot of
this is
people
where
do
you.
that.
And
Yeah, they
I was
just,
just thinking,
I
they
think
just,
that's the
they
solution
just
that
dump
they've
some
come
money
up
on their
with.
account.
well, I
Yeah,
just figured if they put it in red that we were changing something about billing,
yeah.
No,
that
just
must be an
gotta change
issue.
verbiage, really.
Yeah, I feel like that was there before, that was just
Yeah.
something else.
Anything else on the campground? We'll move forward to open forum. Anybody in the open forum? Yes,
Yeah, that was
Tom?
in there before. This was in there.
Tom Novak, 25 Mill Springs. I'd just like to put out something for the American Red Cross. Just something so our community remembers that for every 300 milliliters of blood, that saves one precious life. And the reason I bring that forward is the Red Cross will have a blood drive here at Heritage Lake at the basement of the clubhouse on January 12th, 2023, from the hours of 2 to 7 p.m. And anybody can pre-register themselves by going to www.redcrossblood.org. Or they can call Marianne Novak at 765-386-2077. She'll be happy to sign you up. I was also wondering if possibly our webmaster could put a little item, a text with this video indicating the website and Marianne's phone number. Is that possible? I'll give that to him after the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom?
All of that will be in an article in the highlights as well.
Anybody else?
Wayne County 282 Patriots Landing. Just one thing, and going back to your signs, boat lit flags that are inappropriate, or and the word inappropriate and offensive were both used, and I was just wondering why you couldn't say inappropriate / offensive, or inappropriate or offensive, and then cover both legs of it.
There you go. That's better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We still got some good ideas.
I thought you fell asleep in the meeting.
Every month.
All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Good night.
All right, we're gonna have a small executive meeting.
Boy.
Is that a complaint?
I just was yawning.
I think if you guys
Listen, what I said, 10 after 8, we get through all this stuff, it's 10 after 8.
We got the
Let's
view.
move forward. We'll get out of here by
I'll have it
8:30.
all set
You
up.
did say 10 after
I
8.
did.
Man, it's like a
I guess when you
well-oiled
practice
machine.
at home.
Just
you-
ram
your
right this
timing-
Oh, it's not only at home, it's not only at home, I go to restrooms and
In
practice.
practice, yeah.
While he's playing. Playing in the sink. No playing in the sink, Paul.
That's great, I'll probably have all 10 that I need.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick.
Let me run it by Bonnie, but I didn't see anything.
When's the game?
I
When is the game? When is the next game?
know.
Friday at 7:30.